It would help if I changed to the right thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we are live.
Hello, everyone. It is once again Wednesday. You find yourself locked in a room. But fortunately, you have internet connection, so you can watch our shenanigans. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Shenanigans.
All the shenanigans.
Yay, shenanigans.
What's up, lovely people? We are getting ready for another weekly, daily Wednesdays. You know, that little thing we do. Hope everybody is doing better. You know, it seems like reality's slowly recalibrating itself to some extent. So
Slowly, yes.
Very slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the original Flobies. The new ones are much nicer.
I did a Google search for Floby, and then I went to
like
the image
classic
search
one.
so I could actually see. It's like, oh, mom with a massive bowl cut, kid about to have a massive bowl cut. Okay.
yeah, it's spinning blades that you put on the end of a vacuum cleaner hose. I don't see what's wrong with it. I mean,
It's got a big plastic protecty casey type of thing.
you can get that off.
I'm sure you can.
Like I said, you can turn it into a usable device.
Yeah. Yeah, Arthur, and I saw your game suggestion in chat. Yeah, thank you. I will definitely try that demo out.
Yeah, it looks like the Steam Summer event is demos for everything.
Yeah, and that's great. The more the better.
Yeah, I was playing around for a few minutes with the skate, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but with a burb.
The bird, yeah.
You can flap.
Bird skate, skatebird, something like that.
Skateboard. Yeah.
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 Ah, man, demos are still a thing. It's called early access. You just buy the game early.
Yeah.
You have to buy the demo.
Or the traditional use of a demo is classic ASCII animation with chiptunes from the BBS days. I used to love those.
Oh, you mean the key generators? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
I would hate to think whatever infection you gained from getting a key generator would be more expensive.
Most of the key generators that were in fact loaded with viruses, they usually got cut pretty quickly.
That sounds like an interesting story.
Oh yeah, Steve Husband. That's right. I forgot about that.
Investing in Floby.
Oh
Yeah,
man, did you
Steve,
see
you're gonna
Zach's
have to
bowl
recount
cut?
that
The
story.
dude got Floby. Oh.
It's
Don't
like
get
not,
Floby.
what happened to him. It's the why. What I want to know is the why. Why was that a thing in the first place?
Well, when you're thinking about, blades spinning at a higher velocity like that, and with longer hair, I'm sure there's a small mice type warning somewhere in the 80s packaging. It's
Yeah.
like, it's going to hurt you when it gets wound up and it just starts
A little bit.
a little bit. Dude.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Yeah, we are so grateful Steve Husband's back to work. It was a little scary for a while.
There is no Frank in this shot, merely llama. Confused.
Yes. You see llama and skeletal hands.
I'm just saying, man. Frank and the llama, both of them, they'll bite you.
I will be right back. I need to take my break since you guys took yours.
Were you keeping the nobody company?
No, yes. Then. Cool.
Yeah, I like working from home.
Some people have taken to it.
I had a sneaking suspicion I liked it, even before I started doing it.
Just as long as you get out of the house occasionally, I think.
I do need to go shopping every now and then.
Then you end up, oh, you're going to become a me. You're like, so I went to the grocery today.
I'm a shut-in. I've always been a shut-in. I don't really like people in general. There's very few and far between, like, the human beings that I encounter that I tolerate. And every now and then there's Nori.
I got too many friends that are young, man. They're out and about. They're like, hey, let's get like we'll do this. And it really sets in at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, okay, I know someplace else that's open. I'm like, no, I gotta go home.
It's 4 in the morning. That's closing time. Let's go to sleep. Or, you know, stop at the bakery to get something massively unhealthy, loaded with sugar. Please, now.
Right. We should be pretty good to go. What are you going to talk about at the beginning, Pedro? Anything? Nothing?
I can mention a pine book. Let's see.
Okay.
Pine book pro.
For the plug segment. Good.
Arthur, any crazy person you?
There was some type of like signage or something that apparently wasn't terribly important. That just reminded me because I wanted to thieve it really bad. And I'm like, no. Some ridiculous signage. I don't know.
There's a bunch of like new bits of paper taped to the wall, the doors and the walls at work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, please maintain 2 meters distance. All that. And I've been scanning through all the different ones, see if I can find some really, really egregious spelling mistake, but I haven't found one yet.
Oh, I filed a bug report for GitHub for a typo. I'm just waiting to hear back from that. I genuinely did. The only reason I noticed it because of when I was setting up Sid, I was like, just because I knew it was the right things as copy pasta off the GitHub page to get all the pip dependencies. And it's like, wait a minute, what are you erroring about? Oh, you made a typo 4 days ago. You know what? I'm going to file a bug report. Just being nice. LGC cares.
What's a K-cup?
I don't know. I know what a K-car is.
Beverage.
Oh.
So
It's
a latte?
No. It's the type of beverage you get if you have an exceptional hatred for the environment.
Oh, it's one of those
Yeah.
pod thingies. Yeah, alright.
Still big. See, that's kind of the problem is if I'm on the receiving end of that, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? That's how it's spelt now. Dude, it's cappuccino machines.
Yeah, it's the little capsule thingies. that hot water goes in and brings all the stuff out, and then the capsule goes to a landfill.
When I was, yeah, I drink the same amount of coffee as I drink tea, and which is probably 4 to 6 liters a day. So I went out and I bought a coffee machine that you put the beans in the top, and it would grind them, dump them, sort them, make coffee, and it was like a
Proper coffee then. Okay.
and it was like glass lined, so you could use it, just take it out as a thermos and just keep it around all day or like for an hour. And 3 days, then it just broke. Just broke, dead. And I was like, you know what? There's a lesson to be learned from that. So I took that like little 9-pound cheap plastic white one, you know, that coffee maker that everyone has somewhere. Still have that thing. Can't plug it in, but I still have it.
Yeah, Nori's mom gave us her like capsule coffee machine thingy. And now I realize why. Because that thing had a nasty habit of leaking. It had a little water reservoir on the back that you would pull out, fill up, put it back in. And it would leak. Yeah, one of those. One of the Nespresso ones.
I was fascinated that the those little critters have DRM on them.
Doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah.
Remember,
I know what some of the Keurigs
what was
did.
the juicer one?
Oh, that's just squeeze.
That
Like,
you
wait,
had to buy the teeny tiny little squeeze bags of juice.
like, does this? They took it apart. They're like, this just pushes the thing to, like, oh, yeah, that went out of business after that video came out.
Yep.
It's just caffeine.
I like the Nespresso. They have like the really strong ones. They have one that's like a double espresso shot in a single capsule, which is nice.
See, I really enjoy like some solid chewy espresso. You know what I'm talking about. But I want about this many. Or it's pointless.
Yeah, there's 440 cans. I bought these because they were on sale. It's like, oh, you can buy 2 4-packs for, I think it's £8 or something. It's like, oh, so it's £1 of beer. All right, okay, cool.
Yeah, Arthur, and I'm using the same sippy cup from last week. I love these.
It's decided lack of crazy straws. That's the only thing I'm taking out of that.
Yeah.
Can you still get? Sure, you can still get, but it's been a while since I've been in a market and saw like crazy straws.
I bought a pack for Nori.
They're not efficient when you're trying to stab somebody with them. They break too easy.
A lot of bends.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I bought a 10-pack of silly straws for Nori because they were in Tesco. It's like, oh.
Did she just like look at you and pat you on the head? She's like, thank you.
No, she's like, why did you buy me these? It's like, you mentioned them that one time that when you were a kid you used to really like the silly straws. It's like, okay.
I was paying attention. I was trying to be storm out.
Aw, I like them too. We have them here.
Oh, I have zero doubt of that, John. My favorite thing, I posted this in Discord earlier this week. Thinking about getting a guest box. And I've just given up trying to find one of these cool things about these 2 Optiplexes out here, or they just have straight HDMI out. Yes, done. Just plug it right in the back. Don't have to worry about anything. For the cheapo boxes that another one, they all have DisplayPort. That's what businesses move to for whatever reason. So,
Yeah.
I need DisplayPort to HDMI, like a little dongle. I was like, what's a good one? And I was reading the reviews just out of curiosity, and I went flipping through the pictures, and there were dozens of mangled, ripped apart ones with 1 star on the DisplayPort saying, this product is defective, it got stuck in the port. And it broke apart when I was removing it.
Oh.
They have a little thing that usually says press here.
This is why I was laughing gleefully as I was thumbing through. And I was like, oh, they didn't know. They still didn't. They didn't. Even after breaking their cable and possibly damaging their DisplayPort.
Wow.
They haven't grokked
That's the fault of the adapter.
Yeah.
They haven't.
Yeah.
To the point where they're leaving a negative review. So they powered through learning anything or figuring anything out. That they were able to power through that. Right. Take a picture. Took a picture of it where you can see the little tabs. This is defective. Doesn't. Yeah,
never underestimate stupid. Just don't.
It was entertaining.
Hello, Mackie.
Hello.
Why are you on Twitch this time?
Do I? Come on.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of the jury, I give you.
Yeah. Oh my
I think
goodness.
the graphics card is fine. The graphics card probably is just fine.
All I take away
That
from
cable-
that, all I take away is that's well built. Doesn't stop. Here's another one.
Oh.
Rip the clean off.
Wow. Oh.
There we're doing good. There's another one. Yep, ripped it apart.
Yep. It lives there now. Oh no, he pulled it off.
Wow.
You can see some exposed bits. Yep.
It's like a meme.
Another one. Just clean.
He pulled the housing without bending almost none of the pins. That's impressive.
Look at that. Look at the clip. You can tell that he got some pliers in there to get it out.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, yep. Okay. It was well-built clips is the only thing I'm taking from this. Smooth.
Oh.
Nice.
Wow.
All the cables. With an arrow. Didn't learn anything. Powered through learning anything. Even put an arrow up. Good on you, mate.
Wow.
Oh.
That's the HDMI side. That caught fire. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, doing good. Yep, nope, there it is.
There it is.
Fire Noodle is right, Arthur.
God, there's so many. And you can see, like, the
Oh,
rich bits there.
yep.
It's like...
Wait, what is that? Oh, it's smashed up, yeah.
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 Oh, wait. I thought. Oh no, we're not
Yeah.
done. Nope.
Yep. That was pulled out of place. As was that. I wonder if they've built a quick release onto the thing now. It's like if people start yanking on it too hard, it just destroys itself.
Ooh, there's another one. You know what? Like I said, there's hundreds of these. Hundreds.
Wow.
Because it's a very popular product with great ratings,
Yeah.
but it's just amazing.
Ah, man.
Yeah, I mean, if I get a DisplayPort cable and it didn't lock, I'd be like, this is defective.
Yeah, it's like, no, the thing isn't doing its job. It's not locking in place.
That's how you
Give me
know it's
another
in
one.
there, right? Again, have you ever encountered a product or a situation like that where after you've effectively destroyed it, you're like, oh.
I don't think I've ever gotten to that point.
No.
I know for a fact I've done that before. I have the humility to admit it, but I couldn't pinpoint something. I have that feels of like, oh yeah, you've like broken something. Like, oh, that's how it's supposed to work.
There's this CPU here that I keep around because I killed it somehow. That's it. There's one of the pads on the bottom. There.
Oh.
Camera probably can't pick it up, but...
I did bend a pin one time on my Pentium Pro, but I was able to save it. The credit card trick does work. There's several other techniques, but I was able to straighten it out. And it was fine.
The long nose pliers with no grooves. Pardon me.
Yeah, those work
with
too.
no grooves on the thing. Just very slowly. It's like...
Yeah.
Still buying processors with pins.
Yeah, well...
For a moment there, my brain went, wait a second, you're using an AMD processor. Threadripper, right?
Yeah. Technically, I could be using an Opera.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, Threadripper's got the LGAs, right? Okay.
Which is great, because if you bin pins, it's on your motherboard.
Yeah.
Wii remote wouldn't pair?
I've unbent the pins on many Optiplex motherboards.
I
Because
bet.
people push theirs off their desks.
You know, I'm surprised Jackbox cut on, because I have some like extra dust filters because it's just a sieve at the top.
Yeah.
And I have it under the casing, so I was like, oh, right, I have like 10 minutes. Let's unscrew that and pull those out and clean them and wipe them off. It just wouldn't slide back in place. It's got the front panel that covers where it does have a mesh filter,
Yeah.
you know, behind the plastic, and so I pulled that off and I couldn't get that back on, and I was faced with that terrible feeling of like, I can make you go back on. We're not having a conversation here. It's just, I might need some tape to keep you there after it clicks in. But I was definitely like giving it slightly, probably more than I should have, like encouragement. It's like, come on, until I was like, okay, fine. For no inexcusable reasons, it's clicking. Oh, fine. All right. Fine.
It just fell into place, yeah.
All right. I'm just going to put the screws on. We'll leave you alone. It was one of those situations. You've all dealt with it, where you just monkey with it. And okay, now it works. Okay. Cool. What?
Oh, the K9 from Doctor Who. Steven, it hadn't worked for a long time. At least he thought it hadn't worked, and he had just forgotten to pull out the tab. and so he took it to Mattel to have their engineers work on it. And this whole time, it just had the plastic tab that you couldn't see stuck in there.
That's something to check. I've definitely had somebody bring me, it was a AA device. Oh, this is back in the old days, kids. Remember digital cameras? You're like, yo, you know the electronic things? Like, yeah, it was like some Sony camera or something like that. It was nothing terribly fancy. I had 2 AA's. And I put them in both ways. I'm like, well, okay, maybe the batteries are dead. Like, no. Opened it up. They were both face up.
Oh, both ways, both facing up and both,
Both facing down.
Let me explain to you continuity.
Nope. That was a high level. Here you go.
Try now.
Yeah, nonverbal. It's like I don't need to say nothing needs to be said over this. People just blindside you sometimes. You're like, that's almost impressive.
Yeah, no, they usually have drawings. It's like one goes in one
they
way,
do.
the other one goes in the other way.
But I was thankful, you know. I genuinely, like, you know what? 13 years from now, I'm going to have a story to tell.
Yeah, I think everyone's done that with not doing, positive and negative, doing them both.
I mean, if they're not labeled properly, yeah, but I think even like the toys that I had growing up that had batteries in them, it's like, oh, one goes in one way, the other one goes in the other way. Unless they're all in a row, at which point positive goes to negative, always. And I remember my mom, master's degree in chemistry and whatnot, explaining, it's like, yes, you need to do this and this and this so that the current flows through all the batteries and you can use all the batteries to provide enough power for your toy to run. It's like, okay.
Yeah, a lot of the older toys didn't have those. They just assumed that you knew how to do it. And so when I was a little kid, I
stickers
did.
on the inside of the thing. At least mine did.
Yeah. No, I mean like from the 70s, 60s and 70s toys. A lot of them didn't have it. It just would have a positive or negative, and a lot of people don't even know that. A lot of people don't understand what the difference is. So. But all modern toys do, yeah. They have to. Actually.
I don't know. I was born in the 80s, so.
You're old enough, Pedro.
I'm a millennial, according to some people.
The batteries in this. Same direction.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
then
See, that's
there are
unusual.
Those.
Yeah. They do exist, but it is strange. Yes.
This was the opposite. This was the inverse of that conversation. But I had this conversation with myself. I'm like, why aren't you powering on? Why aren't you powering on? I put it in both ways. Positive, negative. And like, oh, okay. Huh. They both go in. Fair enough, Japan. Fair enough.
Yeah, I can't show you the batteries on mine because it's just a lithium-ion battery that's built in.
I should be able to show you the battery in this thing that's been in here for over 2 years.
Yeah, Nori has one of those wireless bias that's very, very quiet because she likes it because it's very, very quiet on the clicks. And she plays Skyrim a lot. So that mouse battery lasts a month, maybe 2.
That's still not bad.
Yeah, after all the...
When I opened that mouse, I saw like mismatched Amazon rechargeables. That does remind me, I lost an Amazon rechargeable AA to the refrigeration device in the kitchen.
Oh.
It's under it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you put a AA rechargeable battery in a free... Oh, okay.
It fell on the floor and like bounced off the center island in the kitchen, then like over to the other, then just rolled. And I was like, oh no, I can't even. So I patted it. It's like, it's yours now.
Yeah, I have the Amazon AA rechargeables because the Steam controller goes for, like 3 or 4 months on a single charge. Like, all right. Linux Neuro, that's a lie. You just proved that it was a lie.
I don't have batteries in this one anymore. This is going to be a collector's item. Good thing I have a new one boxed.
Yeah, by the time people were going, I was, oh, it's £5, it's £5. Like, yeah, that's gone.
It was like $3, man. Speaking of something that costs more to ship than it did, and like $14 shipping. No, that'll be great. Like 20 years from now, like new in box. I'm like, oh, that's neat. And I could do a YouTube video of just like setting it on fire.
I mean, immediately after they went like out of stock,
yeah.
there were people flipping them for 70 and 80 pounds on not eBay, but on Amazon, the third party.
100%. Dude, the Xbox One S controller is just out of stock, and people are trying to get $75 for used ones.
Scalpers.
Dude. That's like the whole thing, man. But, you know, it's YouTube. That's the thing with YouTube. Like, the day after the Nintendo officially discontinued the Wii U, then it became vintage. And people were talking
the console that no one wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, let's see if we can get one, because now it's cool because it's not made anymore. I'm like, you know what? You're able to sleep with yourself. So you just stay over there and we'll be cool. All right. Hey, man, we can all get along. Guess we should be able to do a show. Let's see. Do we have... Get the chat lined up correctly.
I seem to remember that being a point of contention last week.
When you're recording, it won't allow you to... It'll allow you to duplicate an object, but wait. Yeah. It'll allow you to paste a reference. It won't allow you to duplicate it.
Oh, okay.
So if I do a reference, anything I move in one scene, it's going to do the same thing in the others. Yeah.
Yep.
So that, like halfway through Saturday show, I was like, hey, you know what? That's have fun with that. You guys want to do a show?
Yes.
Too bad. Pedro, tell me a story.
I made a lot of...
Oh, dear God. I was just kidding.
Oh, boy.
Cool. So, I got credits done. I think we're ready to go, kids.
Okay. Whoop, whoop. Woot, woot.
Boop. And hey. All right. Roswell. Get a Roswell power supply. Let's think about Roswell. You never have Roswell. You have whoever the cheapest person they could contract out to put Roswell on.
Yeah.
Which is, I am in perpetual, got my fingers crossed on my 1,000-watt power supply powering this box, but how far is it gone?
Yeah, Roswell power supplies are usually fine. The cases, though, they are, like, the cheap.
Well, the thing with the Roswell power supplies is Roswell doesn't make power supplies.
No, they just put their
So it's
labels
whatever
on it.
vendor with whatever QC process. Yeah. So far, so good. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we sit back, we relax, and we take that midweek break and talk about maybe some of the strange things, but definitely some of the fun things we found going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Vince Stone, That is Joe Bryant. And it's Pedro Mateus.
Hello.
Hello, Pedro.
Everyone watching us live, listening to us after the fact, man. It's been a busy week. A lot of people doing a lot of stuff. If you follow me on the social medias, on the Twitters, oh man, I don't know. It might have been like Thursday of last week. I'm like, I'm thinking about installing CentOS. I just want to give it a try. Not for the first time or anything. It's like I want to see what version 8, preferably 8.2. I decided on 8.1 for a couple of reasons, to see how it would work as a workstation. It's fine. Pedro helped clock it as I was doing live updates in Discord on Sunday afternoon. Like,
you said, well, start the clock. It's like, all right, there's an actual timestamp on that message. So yeah, consider it started.
My TTS for CentOS 8.1, which is time to Steam, which means I have that up and running. I have Vulkan, NVIDIA, and a game, was 3 hours, 13 minutes.
Yep.
And that's from sticking the drive in the USB hole and watching it go. Easy enough setup. CentOS, if you're familiar with it, I grew up with Red Hat, and it's like, just rip stuff out and put it back in what I want. The only deal breaker is it wouldn't be usable as a workstation because, like, first generation Blackmagic cards, the non-4K versions, just don't work because the driver won't compile for whatever. I didn't care enough. I was like, you know what? We've had fun. Then I had to rebuild the audio stack and tinker with stuff. It's doable. Like, if you had no other option, maybe. But yeah, stick with Debian for your workstation. Debian 10, highly recommended. Use it daily. Man. How about you, Jill?
Aw. Well, I had a lot of fun again on English Bob's YouTube show, EB and ULOT Live. There's been so much Linux news this week that it was great to talk about it all. And I was on Big Daddy Linux Linux Live European Edition once again, and that's always a lot of fun. And we had fun talking with Rocco about our favorite X window managers, because a lot of people thought I was crazy for using them. But it was a lot of fun.
Real quick, speaking of software, I almost forgot. There is a preview video for patrons up right now. If I meant to throw that in. If you want to play with OBS and DaVinci Resolve without spending $300 on DaVinci Resolve,
yeah,
I'm going to show you how to set that up. Well, I do show you how to set that up in OBS so you can record to a native format. No transcoding or anything. Just drop it around. So go forth and play with that. But Pedro Mateus has a new toy.
Yes, he does.
Do. And took a couple of weeks to get here. And it had some issues with, the stuff that was included in the shipping, but hey, it's a Pinebook. It's a Pinebook Pro.
Yay!
And it looks really nice on the outside. It has absolutely no markings whatsoever. There's just like a sticker here.
Here's what I'm thinking is you need to change that. You need to clearly identify that as a Pinebook Pro, just in case somebody thinks about stealing it. They'll go, oh, that's all right.
I can get Nori to get me out a stencil and I'll use the really fluorescent spray paints that I have. But
or you can put a Google Chrome logo on it.
I'm pretty sure that would devalue it. But yeah, it's a Pinebook Pro and it works. Were just a couple of issues because I didn't just order the Pinebook Pro. I also ordered the NVMe adapter. And now you're wondering, why is that outside and not already inside? It's like, they forgot the little ribbon cable.
Oh.
That plugs in here, that goes into the motherboard. Yeah, that was nowhere to be found.
Naturally, we had that discussion. Pedro told me that, and I was like, "You went looking around the house, didn't you?" Because I would have start tearing stuff.
I did.
Like, do we get anything
I
that
bet.
lines up?
It's like I had to look at the pictures. It's like, oh, it's one of those ribbon cables. All right, that looks like one of the old LVDS cables for laptops. So let's go have a look. But they were all either too wide or too narrow, so that didn't shake out. And they included two, not one, but two US power adapters for the power supply. And I assume one of these was supposed to be a UK one, but yeah, no. So I have to use the Raspberry Pi 4 charger, the little power supply that gives the exact 15 watts that it needs to charge it. So yeah.
Listen, okay.
Happy times.
We can MacGyver around this situation. Do you have any nails?
I do, but I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, come on.
I'll just use the Pi charger. It's fine. It works.
There's a small part of me that wants to see you stick nails into the mains.
Of course there is. It's
Yes.
like, Pi charger. The Type-C connector.
All right.
Away we go.
That works.
Cool. Okay, let's get into it. Starting with on again, off again.
Yeah. So this is awesome. This is a little utility called Simple Tasks, and it lets you manage your webcam and microphone in the Simple Taskbar app for GNOME, or or the GNOME derivatives and KDE and whatnot, and make it easier to turn on and off your webcam or microphone without having to do it manually. One, pull out your USB cord from your computer for security on your webcam, and or mute your mic, and it makes that much more convenient. Although, of course, you can do it with your sound system controls. But it's just a really nice little utility, and it works pretty well. I installed it here on Ubuntu Mate, and it works. Turns off that webcam.
One of the things you got to think about, man, a lot of people have always been paranoid. You're like, hey, didn't Zuckerberg even have this? Yeah, but he probably just did. Sure. I'm never worried about it. If you spy on me and you see what I got going on in my house, that's on you, man. Those mental scars are not going to heal. Then if
you
I
want
know
to see me shirtless and sweating,
right,
that's what you're going to get.
You're like, oh, by the way, the camera's on. I'm just going to start dancing in front of it.
Yeah.
I have outside of do you think about how many tablets and mobile devices you have? Like, okay, whatever. But like in here, man, the only camera I have is tied up to a wall that has to be plugged into an HDMI encoder, and you have to put a fan on it to keep it from overheating. So that thing is only on when I'm like, do I get a couple of minutes to get it on?
Yeah.
Like I never worry about it in the slightest.
Yeah, this webcam also requires an AC connection, and I unplug it when we're done with the show. So yeah, this is nice. Simple Tasks is really nice because you can enable your webcam and you can disable your webcam at a firmware level without having to reboot, go into the BIOS, change it. So yeah, that's really nice. And most people don't even know where the webcam or the microphone toggles are in the BIOS. So that's nice. That's actually really nice.
That's a handy utility. I mean, GNOME, put that in there.
Yes.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Ooh, System D.
System D still rubbish. System D's 10 years. 10, yeah, it's a decade. Most people, they don't really care as long as it works, But, someone needed an idea for an article. So let's pretend this is still an active, heated issue, kids. Here's the dice. At the end of the day, check. If you didn't grow up with System D, you don't like it. You just don't. Don't pretend you do. You know you don't. I saw you at the meeting. The anti-System D. But if you only have to tinker with it, like on occasion, you genuinely dislike it. But for the most part, it works. Cool. I'll admit that. Is it too big? Probably. Does it do too much, Pedro? Yes, fan.
SVC host.exe? Anyone?
Is it going anywhere? Not a chance. Not going to happen. System D holdouts. Hey, I know you're out there. You're kind of like I was back in the day, being a Pulse Audio holdout. I can bring a system up. I absolutely can. That doesn't have System D. Much like I can listen to music without, using Pulse. I can use ALSA directly.
Yeah.
But it's kind of foolish to do it in 2020, but more power to you. Varieties.
It's like, do you want to run 3 terminal commands if you want to have more than one sound stream per sync?
It's also.
Yes.
Shut up. I can't get heated. I fall into the category of what I said. Like, as long as I don't have to mess with System D and it's out of my way, I don't have to start anything with the system, because that's my approach. Is like, long as I can still just like launch something after the system's up with a bash script, I'm fine. But as soon as I want to try to do something a little more complicated, I can do it. I've done it. I just don't like it. And that's all there is to it. That's not much of an argument, and I don't know if we could have a heated debate about it.
Not really. And that seems to be the thing that most people have a contention with, because with sysvinit, it's like, yeah, all it did was launch a simple bash script. With Systemd, it actually tries to set everything with priorities, with the way that they are supposed to launch. It actually is in its system, not just something launching bash scripts. So yeah, but there is the argument, especially with HomeD coming, that it is becoming svc host.exe, and that's a bit of an interesting time that we're all going to be having. But you know what actually bugs me about Systemd?
Oh, do tell, girlfriend.
It's when I shut down, or I tell my computer to shut down, and it just stays there on Plymouth. No, it doesn't hang. It's Plymouth just giving the little twirly bit. It's like, all right, what are you doing? You hit one of the arrow keys. It's like, oh, it's waiting for a process to die. Okay.
1 minute, 30 seconds,
distro
2 minutes, 3 minutes.
90 seconds. No, the default seems to be 90 seconds for most distros, and that's how long it takes until it times out. It's go, okay, this is not closing, we're killing it now. Yeah. If it doesn't die with, on a system with a 3700X and an NVMe drive, if it doesn't die in 10 seconds, another 80 seconds on top of that is not going to make a difference.
Listen, all I'm hearing is Systemd is optimism, and you hate optimism.
Yeah.
But the thing I do, I usually change the timeout. It's like, no, 10 seconds. You wait 10 seconds.
Look at Mr. Done. Fancy. I don't. I walk up to the computer and go, you know what? We got journal file systems now.
Yeah. And usually that'll let you do a quick shutdown anyways.
Jill, if I do that and it doesn't, I got other problems. I probably have ghosts again. Yeah. So no. Something that probably will shut down when you tell it to. Wait, no, Joe, you got a little bit.
Yeah.
You've been chilling out.
Well, I was going to say that, you're so right about if you didn't grow up with it, you don't like it regarding Systemd. And, I definitely feel more pure using Antix and Dev1 and enjoy taking Knoppix for a spin. And there's a reason why free of Systemd distros just run faster, especially on older machines. So it's definitely good to run non-Systemd on old machines.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yes, we will. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Dave McKay, who wrote the article. It's really well done. It's in-depth, articulate, and easy to read about the history and current state of Systemd, and I'll recommend it to people learning Linux. It's excellent. Well done.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's Systemd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It exists. It's just got to deal with it. Be like, okay. Red Hat's behind it, so it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Fedora started pushing it with Fedora 15.
And, there was an attempt. They're like, hey, Upstart, get that out of here.
I don't think Fedora was using it, but Susie did use Upstart for a while, but yeah, that didn't stick around.
If you get a Susie box that boots, I'm just... run an update on it and try to do that trick again. I'm kidding. We love Susie a little bit.
Yes.
All right, now you.
Oh, here we
go. You hipster. You fixie writing. I don't know what else hipsters have.
I don't have curly hair, and I don't speak with a French accent.
Oh.
Wait, hang on. We gotta talk about. Does Nori have a curling iron?
She has a straightening iron,
Oh,
not a curling one.
boo.
Aw.
But yeah, no, this is Haiku, and it is one of those operating systems that have been sort of lurking in the background of the interwebs for so long now that it's almost ubiquitous. And I've tried like every single release that they have. I've installed it and I've tried it and I've complained about it because there's usually something that doesn't work. And yeah, once again, I put it on my cheapo
I
Lenovo
love it. This is my
B5080.
favorite thing in the world because I want this. I want to wish this mouse, this gerbil, into existence.
The actual physical
Yes.
mouse. Yeah.
I want that.
I have one that has 4 buttons like that in my collection.
But yeah, it does install, and yeah, on that cheap Lenovo laptop, which was the laptop for 2 weeks after I moved to the UK, that was the one laptop that I had, was the one computer I had, and
I'm
yeah,
going through this right now, Pedro, and I am genuinely having like like 98, 97, 98, 99 Linux screenshot flashbacks. Just by
Yeah. Yes.
what they don't screenshot is the screen smearing, because there is no compositing, there is no 3D hardware acceleration on the desktop at all. Most of the software acceleration that you do get is all LLVM based. Hardware support is
It's got NVMe support.
touch and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have NVMe support, and it actually does support high DPI displays now. Even if you have a laptop that had a 1080p screen with a couple of versions ago, if you tried to boot it in 1080p mode, it would just draw you a little obscene picture. But nowadays it actually works properly, although sometimes when you try to boot in 1080p mode, the screen goes all crazy, and all you have to do is restart it again, get into Grub, change the boot to like, I don't know, 1280 by 1024, and it boots in, you know, the wrong aspect ratio, but it boots.
Tell me about the browser.
Yeah.
The browser is what they call web positive,
Yeah.
and it
Sounds
makes-
contractable, but okay.
yes, it does. And it makes Midori look competent by comparison. It desperately needs some Firefox or some Chromium.
Yeah.
Well,
Literally anything else, please. Oh, God.
I couldn't keep track
Aw.
in our Discord, but I'm
Well, it's
guessing
better than NetSurf. That's what I've always used on Haiku.
I saw a couple. I saw you, I think Artheron, and someone else.
Daisy.
Daisy. It turned into like
Yeah.
a haiku install fest in our Discord.
Yeah.
Who was it that said it got there eventually? They loaded Discord on it.
That was Artheron.
with the
Just
browser.
loading it through the browser. Apparently, it took a while for it to load.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if you try to open like a YouTube video, 720p is the best you're gonna get, at least on an i5 from 2 years ago. That's the best you're gonna get. That browser needs changing.
Yeah,
Hey.
definitely. Hey, but BOS love, it's giving BOS lots of love. So I've always been really excited about this independent distro because of that continuation of BOS, a distro that I pretty exclusively used for almost a year. So I was really
It
excited
took
about
you a
this
whole
project.
year to figure out it wasn't any good.
Aw. Well, I wanted to live that lifestyle, back in the Microsoft days. So it was nice to have something independent.
Oh, yeah.
I have it installed on. Yeah, that Lenovo B5080 is just running Haiku now.
Oh, I
and it's
definitely
like you
looked
hit
at
the
it.
button.
Man,
Yeah.
like
5
haiku,
seconds.
BOS back in the day always had like the neat factor. Like looking at this, like that's
It's beautiful.
neat, but I couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't get work done.
Ah.
Yeah.
with
I used to
haiku.
be able to run a lot of my animation apps on it. There were a bunch of hacks to get them to run. So
Without any 3D acceleration, yes.
yes,
Like I said, I
They
couldn't
do
get any
have
work
Mesa,
done.
but it's all software.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Everybody. That's the new thing these days, man. You know, you like get like sparkly cowboy boots, then you make a laptop with an AMD processor.
Yep. And it seems that Tuxedo beat System 76 to the punch by just a couple of weeks, because we talked about the what was it? The Tuxedo XA15, which was, you know, a monster of a laptop that you could customize with up to a 3950X and a 2070. And now System 76 has the Serval WS, which looks very similar to that laptop I was just describing, because it's the exact same laptop. And they do have more limited hardware choices. You can only pick up to a 3900X.
It's more limited
I believe.
to double. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can only pick up to a 3900 and a
That's thick.
2070.
Yeah.
That's the 12 core.
Did notice
Yeah,
that.
whatever that is the opposite of thin.
Yeah, no, it is again. It's the exact same laptop, and I said the previous one was a chunky boy, and this one a chunky boy it is. But yeah, I suppose limiting the amount of different configurations that you can have will allow them to support the different builds better. So I guess you're trading that extra bit of limitation for the extra support that you're getting from System 76. And the price is very similar to what Tuxedo was offering. So yeah, it is mostly, if you want to go all the way up to the 3950X.
No, I'm legitimately building one that I would consider using for DaVinci Resolve, at least on the go. So I would have continue talking while I'm doing this.
Yes. But yeah, it is it's System 76, so you will get all of the support, and you can buy exactly how many years of support you want. So yeah, it is the exact same laptop that we discussed 2 weeks ago, but with a System 76 badge on it this time around. And that's okay with me. We need more Ryzen laptops when it comes to, you know, the Linux shops. All the Linux shops need at least one Ryzen laptop, and if it is going to be a desktop replacement, make it a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my price for kind of a minimal of what I would like was around $2,063 for a system that I can render with Blender and Maya and DaVinci. So that was it's a fair price, honestly, because you know I'm using an Asus Republica Gamers, and originally that machine was almost $3,000. So this is actually, yeah, because it's the AMD Ryzen, it makes the price cheaper, which is nice.
I don't mind it. I mean, it's very fairly priced, and this is a good option for people in the States, especially because if we're looking like Tuxedo, that costs a bit to get shipped over, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Tuxedo are based in Europe, and System 76
that's right.
are based in the US.
So that's something you want to keep in track. And, you know, something like a system that it's like an emergency system, you know, in case of like everything is on fire. Yeah, it says you're going to run about $2,000, and that's going to get you, you know, something 16 gigs, going to get you an NVMe drive, and, you know, a 2070 mobile. So it'll get you through in a pinch, you know. Or you know, it depends on how you want to look at it. Like for me, it's like, I could get away with that. But for like productivity, gaming, yeah, that's great. I'll get it done. That's fine.
Great
Plus,
machine.
you can get the support. You get a problem, ring.
Yep.
Yeah, Pop OS is best OS.
No, it's when you mess with it. That's
that's
when I get
our
Pedro on the
here.
phone, and I'm like, Pedro, what?
No. I
Just
love Pop.
adorable sometimes. Just like, no, that's our meme. I'm like, oh, you're trying to make it a thing. That's cute. That's your thing.
Oh, we did at scale.
It can be a one-person meme. That's fine.
It can, man.
so-
Team me, dude.
No,
I want to call
Matthew, Strider, Lutris,
System
and
70.
Emma, and Patrick Meir in chat.
That's cool. but this is a show that's not that right now.
Okay. I'm just throwing it out there. It's cute. We love System 76.
Let's get Haiku and installed on one and call them up for tech support.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to install Haiku on the.
Oh no, I got it
serval.
installed. I got it installed. We got to be setting up new step or something.
You don't need new step. It's already got a very step-looking desktop environment.
You mean next step?
But,
yes.
Yeah, and
we can
well,
do. My end game is to get hung up on by tech support.
Mm.
Well, that's easy enough to do if you start swearing at them.
No. That's the lazy way out.
You just drop them in, and it's like you end a sentence, you drop one in, and you start another sentence very quickly. They go like, "Did I mishear that?"
So, who's shipping Elementary OS?
Two
Yay.
Linux laptop sellers are shipping Elementary OS, and Cassidy James, the co-founder and CXO of Elementary, is Star Labs, bringing up Star Labs. That's the one at the top there, which is a very good-looking laptop, to be honest, and laptop with Linux, which, if you go and have a look at the actual laptops, they're just like, oh, they're very similar. Yeah, and you've probably seen those designs as well with other brands, maybe even the Clevo brand, but whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, the laptop with Linux one is 17.3. They have two. They have the 14-inch one and the 17.3-inch one, and that's the 17.3 one right there. It's like, okay, that's a monster, and it looks good, and that's I guess that is also how I would describe Elementary OS itself, because it feels to me very similar to Deepin. They are very pretty and they are very focused on their design approach, and they will make sure that the system respects that design approach. Everything that's on the system will do it, but I don't like being railroaded. If I wanted to be railroaded like that, I'd be using Windows. So yeah, I did try Elementary a while back, and while I was using it, it was exactly like using Deepin. It's like, I don't want to go down that road. I think I'm just going to install Gentoo, so at least I have a choice.
Yeah. Well, Elementary OS definitely has the beautiful Mac OS look and feel, and it's really, really great for beginners. So, and it's got a tremendous amount of adoption because of that. And their Universal App Center is really, really great. Other distros can use their App Center, which integrates everything, Flatpaks and app images and debs and everything in between. So it's a really good distro for new people, and it's giving love to the community. So it's really cool.
That's something that we've been lacking. It's good to see more and more of is the software shipping with the hardware backed up with support. That's the important thing.
Definitely.
However, I'm genuinely curious. Is there some type of punishment that one receives as a company for taking a picture of your product, be it a laptop, without photoshopping the screen? Or are you just not allowed to photograph this? There's like some requirement I'm unaware of.
I think it's the LCD, the inherent blurriness of an LCD and the camera lens.
With a decent piece of glass, I can show you how to iris that down so it looks really good, and we can, set a long exposure on it. It'll come out great. It'll look a lot better than like that.
Or you just take a picture of the laptop and then you shoot the desktop shortcut on it.
Always poorly.
There you go.
Because you can see that the laptop, the edges are slightly out of focus, and then the desktop is crisp.
Yeah. I am just saying that inspires something in me, just probably not what you think. You can always make a video of it. Hey, this is from Mozilla Open Labs, man. I just ran across this. I wanted to give the project a little bit of a mention. What is this thing? Video transcoder. It's an odd idea that, well, quite frankly, I want to like. It's using WebAssembly to do all the computation locally. So, no security issues, no need to upload files. Unfortunately, there's no support for AV1 or VP9, right? It's basically MPEG 4, MPEG 2. That's what you got. That's what you can play with. I guess I could eventually see this being handy in a situation like with a lockdown where you could not install Handbrake or, in that case, FFmpeg.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is one of those things of like, this is going to be useful one day for something. I just don't know what yet.
Yeah, well, it has a potential of being faster because it is using FFmpeg, much faster than the other online YouTube video upload converters, which sometimes take forever.
Well, if I'm going to be sending something to, like, if I'm going to be shooting something up to Amazon, I'm going to be paying for it for CPU time cycles. I wouldn't I guess there's companies out there that are like, here, we'll drag it into Handbrake for you.
There are.
Yes.
I don't. It's like, why don't you just use FFmpeg? It's human readable command. That's a lie. I know it is. You just get used to it. But this could be, I don't know, like just drag and drop. Help me out. Feel free to send some email because this is trigger something. It's like, there's got to be a use case for that.
Say if you don't want to be tracked on the tubes, or you don't want to be tracked on any video hosting site, so you pull down the.
You're also converting video. That, like, your goal here is I need to get some. It's a good thing I'm not being tracked on YouTube right now, but I gotta get this video converted, Pedro.
Well, there is a market for online video editors and online graphics programs. So it
web-based video editor.
This would be good for Google Chromebooks. There we go.
That was a perfect
good suggestion.
That's very good, Joe. Right up into the point. I was like, yeah, Chromebooks, right on. I'm like, oh, nope, never mind. You can get Handbrake as an app now.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Like, I don't know.
You're still running it through the Linux compatibility thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Thought I would give it a mention. Hey, it makes as much sense as our next story.
Yay! And this, I've played with this distro before. It's really cool. This is PsychOS Linux. It's a 32-bit free of systemd Dev1 based distro for us retro computer collectors. Yes. And what's really cool about it is it includes all the software you need just in case you don't have internet access for your old computer. And it also has a really wonderful package manager called RetroGrab for installing Linux and DOS software.
Linux Insider, your web zone.
And go check out their website. It's definitely PsychOS Delic. That's what I'm calling
Seriously,
it.
You have a very poorly done website.
Oh, it's old school, man.
No,
it makes a lot of fun.
No, React, that's not old school at all. I'm talking about Linux Insider's website.
Yeah. That is it attempting to adjust to your Zoom by saying you're using a phone.
Well, check it out. It can bunch everything over here. When I unzoom poorly.
Aww. Well, I enjoyed running it with the ICE window manager. It also comes with XFCE and several others. And the only sad thing is when testing this distro, I wish I had a blank DVD-R, but I only had a CDR available, so I couldn't put one on my older i586 machines because the ISO is way too big. It's over 3 gigabytes. It was way too big, and so I'm actually
uses XFCE.
Well, it has several desktops, and that is one of them. Yes, Ben.
PsychOS uses XFCE as the desktop environment. This is a prime choice. Okay,
that is the default. Yes.
Yes, but you can use IceWorm. They've configured as well, and But I'm actually looking forward to the PsychoS 486 implementation that they're going to be doing for i486, which I'm sure will be a lot smaller, and I'll be able to get them on live CDRs. And actually, I was going to show you. I have PsychoS. This list. These are CDRs for my vintage computers, and I would like to get a copy of PsychoS that'll fit on a CDR for my old computers.
There's a lot of handwriting on those.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, some of these, I made the artwork for, like the Morphix and the Dynabolic Linux, and there's Knoppix down here in the bottom. But so anyways.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, there's
Ladies
the
and
website.
gentlemen, you got to take a look at this trailer because it's its own special thing now, isn't it? It's always interesting to see what I am guessing a 20-something-year-old thinks the 80s look like. This is what the 80s look like. This is what the 80s look like in movies and marketing and advertisements. But there it is. It's an attempt at an 80s trailer. I don't know. What's the point of this, Pedro? Help me out.
The point is, is like Jill was saying, is so you have a bunch of packaged DOSBox applications that will do.
It comes with lightning, so it can't be.
Yes, lightning in a box or a laptop, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it comes with a bunch of prepackaged apps. That's why the ISO is 3.8 gigabytes, and it took a solid minute and a half for it to download. But it is, it's not running systemd. It's one of those Dev 1 derived distros, which is good to see that Dev 1 is at least getting something.
Yes.
And they use retrograb to package those DOS apps. And there's a lot of productivity focused apps pulled from, the late 80s, 90s, and early noughties that DOS had still apps going. And they're all included. And supposedly it runs really well on old laptops. I still have to actually plug the USB drive into the T42 because I had other laptops to play with this week.
Is this like something that you can set up with all the old stuff and to like deal with the crushing realism that the world's passed you by and you haven't adapted?
On, yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's the point.
Okay. So this is something for like recent people who've ended up in the home. Here you go.
Oh, yeah.
The nostalgia, rose-tinted glass people. Yeah.
I mean, listen, when I'm in the home, when I'm old, I'm finally going to get like a chiplet-based Threadripper 3 off eBay. I'm like, yeah.
Aw. Well, a lot of those apps, still can be used for content creation. Some of my old animation apps
a lot of those apps are still in use by certain hospitals in a certain country where I'm from.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If you look behind the counter, it's just like, oh, you're still running DOS, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, they're going to make a FreeDOS version of PsychoS called PsychDOS. So that was really cool to hear. So yeah,
don't worry, Amidoska is going to be out.
Well, for those of you who grew up in the BBS days, this is just really, really cool. And being able to get your old retro hardware up and running, with 32-bit software is getting a little harder these days. So this is a good option.
Hey man, people like blinky things,
Look, the website alone with its own custom cursor that's like an RGB strip around a black cursor on a dark background. It's like,
I'm going to stick up for the kid on the web zone because I straight up creeped on that source code. And I'm like, what did you use? Oh, all right. You did most of this by hand. Well done. Fair enough. I'll give you that. All right. Beautiful people. If you like our retro show that we do every week.
Yes.
So retro.
So poco retro. Check it out. Head over to linuxgamecast.com. First, we want to thank each and every one of you who helped make this show possible. We have a Patreon where we have amazing categories, membership levels, they call them, where you can get everything. Just like, hey, man, I'll help you out. And come hop in our Discord. Come take a look at our show notes. There's 6 levels. That's terrifying. We got one just for Chicago, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Executive producers, advisors, all the fun stuff. You guys make this possible. We got merch if you want to support us that way. That's awesome. Yet I will question your sanity for wearing our products on your body. You know what? Buy them for people you don't like. Let them wear them.
Store.linuxgamecast.com.
It is brilliant, man. We got Pigments, we got Oaks, we got Franks, and Pedro, Jill, Jordan. They have. If you just want to straight up creep on, like, what are they thinking about getting? What do they want? They have Amazon wish lists set up. So
yeah,
we do.
You can just
someone actually bought me something from my Amazon wish list this week.
Yay!
It was Arthurian. And Arthurian says, "Hi Pedro. It's too hard for me to think of any message to include, so just take it and shove it up your ... and kiss the Nick Cage already, FFS. With hate, Arthurian." Nope, still not doing it.
Oh.
And he bought me an iFixit kit. And if you
Awesome,
if you watch Jay's 2 Cents on YouTube, it's an iFixit.
Yes, he does that.
At least there's something in there so you can cut yourself with it. I approve.
It's not that sharp.
I try to be supportive and have faith in you for once. And come on, it's a give and take.
But yeah, no, this is really nice, and I actually needed it specifically for the like all the spacers and all the jimmies and everything, because the one that I had previously, they were all broken. And the Apple screwdriver bits. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes. Nice.
Pretty sweet. That is awesome. Thanks, everybody. You make this possible. If you're also curious about anything that we have in the studio set up, I have itemized everything. I've put it up on the web zone. Just go to our About section. There's a list of everything that is stuck together. And I don't really have a personal wish list, but I got one for the studio. If you want to like silently judge me, like, I don't think you should buy that, but I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, go check that out. It's kind of brilliant. And cool. So we gotta get a slice of pie.
Ooh. Slice of pie.
Applied pie.
Yeah, this time with wearable goodness.
Yeah. Ubuntu launches an excuse for Snap. Wait, no. Ubuntu launches appliances for the Raspberry Pi.
No, you had it right the first time around.
I know I did. I was trying to make it. I was trying to make the funnies for the people at home, Pedro.
No, you're not allowed to have fun.
The Ubuntu appliance portfolio, tomshardware.com. All this in our show notes after the fact. Popular links to the latest. Basically, you got to check this out. Honestly, here we go. This is your excuse for snaps. You're like, this is why we're using snaps for this thing then. I'm like, oh, all right, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. Because I get it. You're going to be able to install AdGuard, OpenHAB, Plex, Mosquito, Nextcloud, Private Cloud, as long as you have a Raspberry Pi 2. But they recommend something slightly better.
3B plus or 4, obviously.
Right.
Yes.
And this is going to let you set them up out of the box as appliances. Now, this is all going to be delivered via Snap, to which, again, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You just install it and you're done, right? Pedro, why do you hate it?
Yeah. I don't hate it. This is what they're good for. Stop pushing it on the desktop, please.
Yes.
It's like AdGuard. It's like, okay, you just set your own Pi hole. You push out a snap. Look, it's working. Well, it's not kind of like that. Go and ask Strider exactly how that works. He's been learning containers lately. But yeah, Plex, that didn't really need a snap. But it's good to have it. And Mosquito and Nextcloud, yeah, those are like purpose built for containers or any kind of like containerized application. So yeah, no, this is a good idea. Stop pushing it on the desktop, please.
Yeah, and this makes sense because they just had a Ubuntu server for the Raspberry Pi official version, and they're working on the desktop version. But IoT just makes a whole lot of sense. So it was awesome.
The like AdGuard done Plex, that makes sense. Nextcloud shrug emoji. So yeah, I'm down with all that.
Yeah. Stop pushing it on the desktop, please.
Why do you not like
trying to get GNOME to run on the Raspberry Pi? It actually runs halfway decent.
I would hope so. I mean,
yeah,
no
they're tweaking it.
5.
Yeah. Yes. Classic GNOME. Yes.
Yeah, that's neat. Again, you have very easy job selling me on snaps on like IoT appliances or the Raspberry Pi. It's something.
Yeah, it's like you have the one dedicated thing that bit of hardware needs to do. You can deploy it very easily with a snap, so why wouldn't you?
And I'm also thinking about the security of that. And see, this, again, something auto updates. Yeah, I'd want it to for like something that I'm going to throw in a closet somewhere, never think about it. In a perfect scenario, never touch again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect snap use case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's package calculator.
Let's package the system monitor. You know, the thing that you open when your system is going very quickly downhill and you need it to open it really quickly so you can kill whatever's misbehaving. You know, let's make that take 2 minutes to load.
You know, CentOS 8.1, baby. Red Hat. Send. 6 Flatpak apps installed out of the box.
Were they like anything critical to the system?
You know what? I didn't even look. I was too disappointed. I couldn't see through on tier. It really hurt my feeling.
Yeah, I can see that, like the point that, like Jill said last week, it's like, oh, if you need to have a bit of software run on 1404 with extended support, the snap or a Flatpak will make a lot of sense for that use case. But that's not desktop use case.
Yeah.
To roll back, good job, Canonical. This makes sense. I dig it.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
Yes, it does.
But maybe you have a better use case for Raspberry Pi, or you want to use snaps in a different way, or I don't know, man. I'm sure we got something right. We got something wrong. Possibly you just want to say hi. Is that terribly difficult? You know, according to some people who just randomly like try to slide into my DMs on Twitter, I don't read those. Those are like in the side category that I can't even see when I open my DMs. I hate to break that to you. Like, and it's
they go to the other.
It goes to like that little dot that, because it'll say, "Oh, you have a DM." I'm like, "Okay, I got a DM." I don't. Where's the DM? There's no notification beyond that unless you're like, once. Oh, if I go to that. Oh, wow. Huh. All right. Let's just close that. How can you get in contact with us?
Yes, definitely the best way to get in touch with us is to run up to us on the street and cordially say hi. But if that's not an option because you live, an entire ocean's away, you can go to linuxgamecast.com, you hit the contact button, fill out the little form that appears, and make sure you pick LWDW as a show that you'd like to send your feedback to. Otherwise, you may be unwittingly sending some hate mail for that foul-mouthed Saturday show, what we do. So, yeah.
Yay.
Depends
on what kind of answer you're looking for, basically.
This week, this comes from Luke. AV Controversy. Yeah, man. It's like, hi, Linux Gamecast people. This was addressed to us for LW Dummies. I just happened to come across your podcast 216 while doing a vanity search. You left that part out, but I am helping you out, Luke. It was a good episode, and you all seem to have lots of fun. Well, we do try not to bore ourselves
Yeah.
to tears. I know some people are violently against that. Like, I can't fall asleep to this. This isn't a Linux podcast. I'm like, oh, God. That's why I started doing
there already.
Well, listen, man, that's the whole reason we started. It's like, how about we do a show that doesn't put people to sleep?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I don't take any responsibility for the antivirus controversy. I usually just write about stuff I'm trying to figure out at work, and battling the AV on Linux people is common occurrence. I've since been going through a lot of your episodes. Oh, butter us up, Lily. And they were really good. Keep up the good work. Always glad to find a Linux podcast. Now, I went back and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, that's handy. You wrote the episode number, so there was a chance of me finding.
Yes.
And yes, that was about...
it was a great article.
This atrocious, poorly written article.
No.
Barely
The
legible.
article itself actually did a very good job of explaining exactly, without damning any of the companies involved, because it was that article that we talked about where Luke had sent out a bunch of emails to a bunch of different companies, and Canonical and Red Hat replied and said that no, you shouldn't use an antivirus bit of software on desktop Linux. If you have a server, absolutely. But on desktop Linux, you don't need it. Just exercise some common sense. And then he also sent out an email to Symantec, which, of course, big...
Symantec?
Symantec,
Are they,
Symantec.
Oh, wait, hang on. Are they owned
or
by,
System 76 as well.
Are they owned by Nginx?
Could be, yeah. At this point, I don't really care.
Nor do
whatever or however that is pronounced. But yeah, no, they replied, and of course they are AV publishers, sellers, developers, whatever you want to call them.
This is all we do.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This is, as we said way back when, it's not an uncommon, it's a logical thought process of like, oh, that's the first thing, which is like what you want people to think, at least, is like, I'm installing Linux. If the first thing I need to do is install an antivirus because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's better.
A Windows habit.
It is, but
it's a Windows habit. Yeah.
Want that person to keep thinking like that, though.
Yeah.
Because that's when the inevitable, like, screeching back to Windows, that's one less spam relay. That's one less botnet member. Like, keep thinking like that. I want people to ask, like, do I need that? And I'm like, no, you don't on Linux. But
yeah, install ClebAV. They're done.
Yeah.
it's like, all you need to do is buy a security appliance. I'll just put it right in the rack. Piece of cake. No problem. How much is that going to cost? Don't worry about that.
You'll be invoiced in about a month's time.
If you gotta ask. Beautiful people, we'll get a bounce out of here. We've overstayed our time, but let's roll some credits. Thanks, beautiful people, and we'll see you next week. Yeah?
Yay!
Sounds about right.
Awesome. Aw, thank you, Artheron, again for sending Pedro an iFixit kit.
Yeah, that was actually really, really awesome. Thank you very much.
Yay, and there's our wonderful advisor, Haplo. Yay, Haplo. And our wonderful executive producers and producers. There's so many of them. You can't name them all in the few minutes
you can.
we have.
They're on screen right now.
Yeah.
And if you're just listening to us on audio, which there's a 90% chance that you probably are, yeah, you can always go watch the video. Things happen on video. Empty promises, I know.
Well, I mean, there's that. Also, if you want to listen to us live at work, hey man, go to twitch.com. Hit the Linux game. This is a hack, man. Some people don't know about this. I'll say it real quick before we bounce out of here. Twitch has audio only.
Yes, they do.
So you can listen to us live every Wednesday if that's your bag.
Yeah.
There you go. LGC Pro Tip.
Yay.
Bye, everyone.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And my return video was horrible. It was going in and out. It'd be beautiful, and then for like 2 minutes, I could even hardly hear you. It was garbled, and I was just about ready to jump out and come back in. And I think I did that successfully once.
Yeah, mine freaked out for a bit there, and I too am getting the red thing on mine.
Yeah.
But
We're
it's
having
now
definitely-
it's fine. But for
Yeah,
a
it's
while there, it
perfect
was
now.
bad.
Yeah, so it happened at the same time mine did. All of a sudden I was talking, but I couldn't hear you guys. So I don't know what happened. I think it was fluid, but
I didn't notice it, so yeah.
okay, good.
Such are the dangers of peer-to-peer.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's get that pieced in.
Yeah, that's the thing. The more you have running, Scott made a good point. Unless the virus got in by buffer exploiting the running AV software. Like,
Yeah. That's
the
the
more
thing.
software you have running on your Linux box, the more vulnerable you are.
Yes.
Because it's very hard to poison a repo unless your name is Linux Mint.
That's why no one invites Pedro to parties. Oh, we've unlocked a new specialty product. I still got to do the fanny packs.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'd love one. I'll be the first to get one because I use them.
Are there thongs?
Much to Steven's chagrin. He don't like my
What
fanny
do we
pack.
have? Oh, embroidered patches.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, you string enough of those together and they'll be thongs. All right, cool.
there we go.
So I got to do bio break. Let's see, 4:30. We hang out for about 10 minutes. And,
Okay.
That I'm aware of, Mir, only two. It was Faduntu and Crunch Bang. The original Crunch Bang. It's like, oh, the two distros I really like, dead. Dang it. Although Bunsen Labs has done a very good job of picking it up, and if you just want Crunch Bang but with modern packages,
Yeah.
Crunch Bang Plus Plus.
Oh gosh, I remember Crunch Bang was one of the first distros I put on my IEEE Asus
Yeah, the netbooks.
PC. 701.
Oh, you had one of the 7-inch ones. Ooh.
Yes. And I have one of the newer ones, the later ones too, but I had it on pre-order. Steven pre-ordered it for me.
Yeah. I had the 1005 and I got it for university because it's like, oh, I can lug my massive laptop that performed so poorly, but it was huge and it was heavy, but yeah. Or I could get this 10-inch thing that I can just type, because the keyboard was actually impressive for a 10-inch laptop. It's like, that's a very good keyboard.
Yeah, it was real. Yeah, that is a good keyboard. Trying to think the one
Yeah.
we have a universal one we share at the LGC parties in case anyone forgets a computer. An old
It's the
EPC.
shame computer.
Yes. It's the same. And what was awesome is someone just gave it to me at scale, for the Linux chicks, and
nice.
for us to use, and that was just really sweet. So we have an extra one floating around. It's still at Matthew's house, and Steve husband occasionally uses it when he goes over.
Yeah, no, I always ended up setting X to emulate 1366 by 768 or even 1280 by 720 on the netbook, because 1024 by 600 is not okay. Or the 800 by 540s that the 9
yeah.
series and 7 series had.
That's way too big. I don't want a desktop unless I get a squint at it.
It was a netbook. You have to squint to see it.
Oh, okay. So, Mir, actually, I have been using it to test distros. I never told you.
Unsurprisingly.
Yes, it's just part, but I love it. Well, part of it is it is a collector's item and it is special. And Steven wasn't really too interested in it, and it's actually a collector's item, so it's in my collection now. So there you go.
That's like saying, I just wanted it with a bunch of extra words thrown in.
Yes, exactly. I wanted it. It's unique. Yeah, it's the HP. It's a multimedia, one of their first multimedia computers. Actually, I have it. It's in the hallway right now because I was using it to test a distro.
Each to their own, man. I don't pretend to understand it, but I'm glad it makes people happy.
It actually had oh gosh, I just spaced the name of it, but you can create the CDs with the labels on it.
Lightscribe?
LiveScribe. And I have tons of LiveScribe discs that I've used, that I've made over the years, but it was a laptop with LightScribe built in. So
it has the Wacom layer in the touchscreen, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to buy the Samsung tablet for Nori because of that, because they're the only ones that do. That, or you buy one of the little Lenovo Pros, but that was £1,000 Android tablet, and I said, no.
yeah.
I really want I guess maybe like 19, something that'll fit into a 19-inch rack. But I want a touch screen, so maybe 17 inches that's rack mountable. That is not... Now, they make that exact device for musicians, which means it's $1,000.
Yes.
That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a $180, $190 touchscreen, 19-inch wide.
And push comes to shove, you just get the L brackets and you mount it yourself.
Baby, I got a weld. I have a TIG weld, right? I'll do that myself out in the garage. I can make rack gears. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do that with a digital mixer because this thing doesn't get used anymore. Like this mixer.
Yep.
That's there for cosmetic. Well, that's there because it's a pain to get out of the racks. What might you understand?
Oh, you might be able to find like one of the old 21-inch Surfaces from Microsoft.
21's too big. Get 19 inches.
Yeah.
It's 19-inch rack.
I don't know of any devices
I've
that size.
been digging around, dude, and like I want 10-point capacitive, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Even those IR frames.
It's like you get resistance, like stylus. No, just use a hammer and bang on it, and that kind of gets us. It's like whack-a-mole. Basically, what I want to do is get a like used with all of that. I can get like a little XR digital mixer, which will just fit in. Those things are getting like $160 now. But I gotta have either a tablet or preferably like something I can put on the rack for the interface. I don't know. That's just like...
That's a difficult item to find for cheap, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doable, but it's just boils down to having the time to like kludge together a solution. And like there's other stuff needs doing.
Yeah.
Peanut butter.
Oh, does when netbooks started shipping with eMMC instead of hard drives, that's when the netbook died for me. To be fair, that's when the netbook died for everyone else because, it was already slow, but at least it was usable. Now it's just slow.
Yeah. I bought the first one because that was a novel. Like, oh, that's neat. And, they were relative compared to a laptop. They were stupid cheap, but it's like, it's neat. And it ran Linux. So
yeah, I bought my 1005. It's like, it's 100 euros for, admittedly, a single core Atom with 2 gigs of RAM and a 300 gig hard drive. I was like, all right.
I'll tell you what's not cheap.
All right.
A decent tablet. I've for a year now I've been looking for like a good, because that's my second computer. That's like my primary computing device is a 10-inch tablet and a keyboard, because I don't.
Unless you get lucky, like I did, and you find a Samsung tablet that was always in a case that had a screen protector on for its previous owner's life. Mm-hmm. And it is basically in mint condition. No, the Android tablets right now, that's a really crappy market.
Samsung makes a very decent, I think it's like 11-inch with the dock thing and all that, but it's like $700. And I'm like, man, I'm not paying $700 for a tablet.
Yeah.
Like I rolled over in the fetal position for a month after I spent $500 on that Google tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one shield that I bought that turned into 2 because Nvidia was afraid some of the batteries might explode on the original ones. Mm-hmm. That is like, 300 euros for a tablet? That's a bit much, but I'll spend it. And then I got 2. And the battery, now both of them, the batteries are just, they don't last very long. You're browsing the internet, it's like, 5% of the internet, the battery just went. Huh.
Yeah, you probably got some dead cells in there.
Dave, let's see. I bought them in 2015, so at least 5 years.
That's actually a bit more. I mean, I fully expect 80% charge for about 2.5-3 years. Then after that I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll put a new battery in it.
I actually have to plug in one of them and load the ADB shell to poke it with U-Power to see how the battery is doing, because it doesn't last any time at all.
It's how many milliamps is the battery?
3100 or 4100. I don't remember, but it's not very big.
So 3100, 35. It's probably a 4-cell design. You might just be down to 1.
Probably.
Unless there's like a lipo pack or something in there.
I have to. Well, someone did crack one apart when they were getting the Ubuntu on Shield project going, which I've tried to, but the packages are so out of date that it's kind of pointless. And the moment you try to update and then reboot the tablet, it goes black screen. Okay, fine.
And Pedro, where do we keep old tablet batteries?
In the dryer.
That's right. Where they
Oh,
belong.
yeah. You did that for a long time, huh, Ben?
What do you mean dead?
Yeah.
It's
Is it still there?
Of course it is. I took it out the other day because I had to dry something. I just got to take the battery. Listen, it's also a 9,000 milliamp battery too.
Yeah, that's a chalky battery.
It's like if there's one thing in the house outside of like a fire safe, but I want to keep everything inside of my fire safe in one piece that might be able to hold it if it ever went out. Dryer might.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you, Arthur. Hug back. Here.
Wow, that is old anime. Like really old anime.
Oh, yeah, it is. Aww.
That's probably the speed at which it played on TV, too. The magnificent 4 FERPs. Sometimes interpolated to 12. Hey, Salty.
Yay, salty.
Oh, man. You need to fix that Discord. You just do.
Yeah, just go back to scrolling automatically, please. You used to
Yeah.
be able to handle GIFs just fine. What's the issue now?
I know.
I mean, it's been like that for months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Internet's knackered. What's new? Don't worry. It's only affecting areas where people live.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Throwing shade at Canada, Mexico, basically everything around the US.
Yeah, but it's pretty bad when Canada can look at US internet and be like, I wouldn't mind some of that, eh?
Yeah. Even here in the UK, it's like, I thought Portugal was a third world country, you know? But then I come here, it's like, oh, some places still only have dial-up or really slow DSL. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like the slowest places in Portugal get like 10 down, 5 up DSL.
Yeah.
Those are the slowest places.
But hey, go ahead and put those digits into the Starlink web zone because they're going to be sending out notifications
I have.
when the beta's like, yes, I would like that.
Space internet, please.
What
Yeah.
space internet? Seth?
Yeah, space internet. Yeah, Earth there, and that's true. We don't here in LA. We don't have data caps.
No, when you think, yeah,
Comcast is one of
There's
the,
like
and we don't have
one
Comcast.
main big ISP that's like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, but listen, everyone already hates us, so what? We don't care. We're Comcast.
Yeah.
And there are entire chunks of the country that Comcast is your only option.
Yeah.
So
There is like Comcast in the Inland Empire, but here on the at the beach, it's Verizon, Frontier, Spectrum.
AT&T has caps, just not for their gigabit service.
Yeah. Correct.
Well, I take that back. They don't have it for their there's AT&T squirrely, man. AT&T's like, you know what?
Well, yeah, Mir, but you have a choice. You don't have to use AT&T with those caps. That's what's nice.
oh, it's almost 10 p.m. I need to go make dinner.
Pasadena
You all have
is
fun.
lame. and I said at the coast we don't have caps.
AT&T does, like, it depends on what like service options you have with AT&T. That's where
Yeah.
it's squirrely.
Oh, I know, because they try and sell their fiber and they give you DSL. That's what they do to a lot of people who don't know better.
Oh yeah, but
That's their tactic.
that's not what I was addressing.
Yeah.
What I'm addressing is AT&T's got a thing, especially with their gigabit service, to where they're like, you know what? We won't give you any caps, and we won't data mine you. Wait, yeah. By the way, we want to data mine you. So if you let us data mine your connection, we'll cut you a deal. How's that sound? Oh, you don't want us doing
yes.
that? You got to pay us extra, by the way. Yeah. It's AT&T. But what are you going to do? Space internet. That's what we're going to do, kids.
Yeah, space internet.
I'm so down with that. I
Yeah.
can bond, I think 5 connections I can bond in this router.
That'd be so awesome.
DSL is £50 a month. Fiber's $30 a month. So go figure.
Oh wow. God.
ADSL. Bad old days. Of course, I remember when I was incredibly excited to get DSL. Ecstatic. Excited's not the word. Then I didn't know what to do with myself when I was able to get DSL that was 600K down.
Yeah. I was so fortunate. Went straight from dial-up to cable modem in 1998 with 3 megabit down. That was huge. I got to bypass the whole DSL thing. I was so happy.
Yeah, my first cable modem, they didn't. I think it was theoretical max was 1 megabit.
Oh, wow.
And this was just when it was rolling out because it had a phone line for your send.
Yeah.
It was not bidirectional.
Oh, okay.
$20 a month. I mean, you can get some great deals. But then again, if you have choices.
Yeah.
Basically, what most people end up with is a duopoly. You know, you got the telco, then you got the cable provider, and they do a pretty good job making sure they're about the same price.
Yeah, that's their... Yep.
Dial up to 5.1. Yeah. Oh, man. It's, SneakerNet, ADSL, Plus, yeah. I mean, that's really my only option here is VDSL too, but...
Yeah.
Which I've had.
No.
Then AT&T's like, how about some caps? And I'm like, how about I leave?
Oh God, I was just thinking about the BBS days. I remember how excited I was going from my 14.4 to 28.8. that was like, woohoo! You were speeding. I could leech the wares.
I remember running out and getting my first 50 US robotics. Had to get a hardware modem because, you know, you had Win modems. Win modems didn't work under Linux.
Yes, correct.
So you had to get the big
I always had a hardware.
chunky, I got a US robotics X256K, and man, I could sometimes handshake at 24.
Yes. Yes.
56, man. I never ran into that mythical beast that could get a 56K handshake.
Oh, hello, you Lucid Links.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got well, it was Verizon, now it's Frontier Gigabit. Love it.
Also, if you have AT&T fiber, do yourself a favor, go ahead and check toast.net because they can run on top of in a lot of areas, and they have a much better package deal. Plus, they don't hit you up every month for equipment rental.
Yeah.
That's then again, you might have already looked into that. I mean, whatever works for you, just something to keep an eye out for.
No, actually, I have been because, you know, they haven't offered that. So, because the AT&T is not available here in this area unless it's DSL. But I'm waiting for them to compete with Frontier on that.
Oh yeah, I was throwing that out to Lucid.
Oh, okay.
So that's gonna be a thing. Hey, I gotta go make a podcast, Jill. What are you gonna do?
Okay. Oh boy, I have to go. Well, I'm gonna go eat first.
How
and
dare
then
you?
go do some exercise, and then come back, and we're gonna have a virtual meetup with the Linux Chicks of LA tonight.
A virtual meetup.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna use Jitsi, of course. We're gonna play games.
Uh-huh. We're gonna play.
Yeah. You know, we played Scribble IO last time, the web-based Pictionary, and that was a lot of fun.
Right on.
I like that one. Yeah, I'm starting with the web-based stuff, and then I'm gonna eventually get them on Golf with Your Friends and Portal and do that. So
Fun. All right, beautiful people. I hope everybody has interesting, if not entertaining, conclusion to your Wednesday.
yeah. Yes.
I'll see everyone Friday.
Yay. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Love you. Have a good rest of your day, or good night, or good morning, wherever you are. Daisy. Arthurian. Bye. Lucid Links. Mirror. Scoots.